Will vote for this with serious reservations.
Honourable Nicky Wagner.
Mr Speaker, I am very pleased to be able to take a call on this Local Government Act 2002 Amendment Bill at its second reading. It's a bill that's about better, more effective and more efficient local government, and it amends the Local Government Act to give effect to the second phase of the government's reform of local government. It's all about providing councils with tools to give local authorities the ability to provide better services to their communities, and it focuses particularly on improving housing affordability through the changes made to development contributions. Because local government, just like central government, needs to be able to deliver better services to New Zealanders through tight fiscal times. And this bill and its reforms are parts of National's program for building a more competitive and productive economy and delivering better public services. Now, it's very interesting listening to the member Phil Twyford talking about the bill. He obviously doesn't understand the detail, because I want to make it very, very clear that all infrastructural costs of a new development for housing must be paid by the developer. Now, that's in terms of the roads, the sewers, the water, etc., including parks and reserves and including community centres. The only extra facilities that cannot be put on those development contributions are those that are also used by existing residents. In other words, we're sharing it fairly across the whole community. National does not want future generations to be unable to afford to buy their own homes, nor do we want local authorities to be unable to invest in the infrastructure necessary to make our communities grow. It's so important then that development contributions are fair and no higher than they need to be, and I think everyone agrees with that. Some councils have had specific projects that have required ongoing development contributions for bigger projects, and so we put a transitional clause into this bill to allow them to continue to collect those contributions for things that have already been built or are currently under construction. We've also changed Section 20 of the Act. We've amended that to clarify that territorial authorities can't charge development contributions for infrastructure that's already been provided for and funded by the Crown. In other words, if the government pays for it, the ratepayer doesn't have to pay for it, and that seems ultimately fair to me. The bill also requires better and more transparent planning for the costs of infrastructure. And we know it is these huge infrastructure programs, water, sewer, that sort of thing, that really puts the pressure on rates. So this bill specifies that the council must have a strategy that says the most likely scenario for the management of their infrastructure assets, indicative estimates, and projected for capital and operating expenditure. Some councils may have done this, but what we're looking for is a consistency across the councils to make sure that it's very transparent for ratepayers. And these estimates will be linked with their long-term plans over 10 years to start with, and then 5 years as it's further out. Now, at the request of the local government sector, this bill extends the local boards model that's been used in Auckland. It's a model that local boards share the governance with the council's governing body, and it's something a little bit like community boards that people are familiar with across the country. But these local boards are statutory bodies, they have mandated responsibilities and can't be sidelined by the council, which often happens with community boards. Ratepayers are very keen that their councils deliver services efficiently and well. And this bill will encourage greater collaboration and shared services between local authorities, and it will provide local authorities with a range of really practical ways to achieve efficiency of scale without necessarily having to amalgamate. The bill also focuses on better consultation, decision-making and planning, and it provides councils with more flexibility and clarity about how and when to consult. It allows that consultation process to be easier and simpler, and it also specifies that they have to use plain English documents, which I think will please a lot of ratepayers. It also allows councils to use new modern technologies and techniques to consult with the public, and hopefully that will keep the price of consultation down. The final goal of this legislation and all of National's local government changes is to provide better services and to keep rates affordable. Rate rises are getting under control. The average rate rise in 2012 was 3.1%, and it's been coming down year after year under the National government since the high peak of 8.62% in 2007 under Labour. And I think that's good news for all New Zealanders.
Maker Whaitiri.